Hello, everyone, and welcome. We're so glad you could join us today for our webinar, Why Now? Unlocking the Power of SyteLine version 10. I'm Wendy Broom, Director of Marketing at Guide Technologies. We're excited to have you with us as we explore the latest and most impactful features of SyteLine version 10 and help you understand how upgrading can position your business for long-term success. Joining me today are three of Guide Technology's top experts. Ron Klontz, our Vice President of Sales Consulting, Kyle Myers, Solutions Consultant and Product Specialist, and Michelle Reidman, our SyteLine Practice Director, who brings deep expertise in both strategy and implementation. Together, they'll be walking us through what's new in version 10, what it means for your organization, and how to prepare for a successful upgrade. Here's a quick look at what we'll cover. We'll start with an overview of what's new in version 10. Then we'll walk through key upgrade considerations and timelines. Next, we'll demo select new features that users have been asking about. And finally, we'll wrap up with best practices for a smooth transition and open it up for your questions. Our team is here to make this session as informative and actionable as possible. So feel free to drop your questions in the chat at any time, and we'll address them during the Q&A at the end of the event. Let's get started. Ron, over to you.
Thank you, Wendy. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Ron Klontz here with Guide Technologies. Just a little bit about the company that's behind today's webinar. We're a company that is really focused on our customers' journeys, outcomes, success-based if you will, projects, and helping companies really unlock everything that they've invested in for all the years with SyteLine and now CloudSuite Industrial. So we're just a hardworking bunch of folks that really love what we do, especially helping customers on the journey with CloudSuite Industrial and everything about manufacturing. So this journey, for myself personally, been working with CloudSuite Industrial around 35 years. So I always love this slide because every customer that's usually on today's presentation, they'll go looking for their software and they'll go, oh, wait a minute, that's ours right there. But it has been an amazing journey for all the 35 years. CloudSuite Industrial is still today one of the top enterprise applications out there for discrete manufacturers. And Infor has invested heavily in this journey. Today, we're going to get a chance to unpack just what I would consider a small portion of some key capabilities that customers are looking for when they start to discover and start to talk about their, what I would call their transformation journey or their upgrade journey, right? And there's also a lot of new enhancements and capabilities that are going to help with a lot of issues that we know that your SyteLine 7, your SyteLine 8, and maybe the SyteLine 9 customer base, kind of had to endure or dealt with. So today our team is fully prepared to go through, cover just a real, small piece of this capability. And then at the end, we're going to talk about implementation success and how we've helped other customers through this process to make their upgrade processes really as seamless and as easy as possible. So Kyle, I'll transfer it over to you, sir, and you can continue to walk everyone through this and into the demo.
All right. Thank you very much, Ron. Come on, camera quick. I know AI is so prevalent these days. Just want to give you a little view that, there is a person behind the camera on this point in time. So some of you I have met, some of you I have not, and I look forward to conversations. As part of this, part of my role here at Guide is I help walk you through what could be. And I come from a very unique perspective on that. I've actually not too long ago been on your side of the table. I've actually installed CloudSuite 90030 at a customer, worked with a couple others, met in many roles, including IT manager, which a number of you probably are from looking at the people who signed up. So I'll leverage that from some experiences I've had as we talk today. Just wanted to say a quick hello before we get too far into this. So from my side, welcome and thank you for joining us. The first thing, as I've talked to a number of companies now looking for an upgrade to the cloud, companies have been anywhere from version 6 I've talked to all the way to 9.1. So we kind of picked a spot, version 8, as where just to take a look at what has changed. Because what happens with a lot of companies is they may have gone through, they may have written a customization. There may have been something that they wanted to do in the system. Well, what companies are finding is that the product has evolved where they don't need all of that customization anymore. It's much more core. We're able to do a lot with the system as it is and really makes that upgrade path very smooth because now we're dealing with native features rather than a customization. So a couple things I'll walk through that. We had a lot of technology improvements. We'll dive more into what that means later on, but we're now on a platform where things are native. Document management, automation, advanced automation, and mobile access is all part of this. And we'll see some of those. Interface improvements. There is now a native report writer. For those who have used SSRS in the past, know that that's actually gone. We're now natively in the system, direct connected to the data as we're writing reports, and that can really speed the development and implementation time. Many features, touching on some of the finance as well, that we have a great financial environment now where you can do any number of general ledger analytics, extended CRM with finance, but also security for SOX compliance. We can talk a little bit about the Gov Cloud later on. So those of you who are working towards your CMMC certification, we have solutions in the cloud, especially for you. A couple other advancements, though, as we look at the, there it goes. Some of the more operational side. Many of you are heavy operations companies, so we've done much more to support you. Some resource-based scheduling has evolved over the past things. That allows you to do resource by resource, not only your labor, but also your machines, tooling, all that. And we are rolling out multi-site as well. That means what you're able to do is have all your sites in one database, but even beyond that, having multiple manufacturing sites in one system. That is rolling out. Much more is also integrated within the system. Things like quality, service, EDI, all of that is core as part of your cloud offering. So all these things that we're looking at maybe on the outside are now being fully embedded within the core solution, working together, ready to go for you. On the inventory side, many enhancements. Pick, pack, ship has worked well for so many customers, streamlining their shipping process with UPS and FedEx integrations with that. And then engineering has also improved as well. Alternates, we have a great visualization in the engineering board, and there's also some native CAD integration packages that can come alongside to give you a deep integration with your CAD, saving a lot of time and efficiency. So that's some of the core solution. It's evolved a lot over the past 10 years since I installed, and it's evolved very, very much since then. But we're going to the next level, kicking it up a notch. So what we're doing Infor is doing, and we're walking with them, is now taking this into the AI realm, the automation realm. As part of the cloud, you now have access to this realm. That's such a hot area right now. So we have augmented intelligence. We're going to give you the ability to take your data, collect it, and also now leverage that machine learning for advanced insights. There's also automation beyond what you may even normally think of. Little robots and workflows we can run in the background, saving you and your organization time, money, and reliability. All getting into Gen AI. Just got released a Gen AI package with your subscription. It's there ready to go to help you. And we'll hit on some of these. Definitely a lot more to talk about. This is just a little flavor, but if you and your company want a more in-depth conversation on this, we definitely want to walk with you on that. So what's the biggest difference? So right now on-prem, you're probably used to a database on a server, and you just know the SyteLine application. Well, what Infor has done is they've invested heavily in creating more of a platform. So think of this as kind of like your operating system, but this is now a cloud-based platform that Infor is actually providing you. And now all these applications are in there working together. That's where we get the automation between all of these things, the AI and the intelligence mapping out how your business can run. Now, this is built on AWS. So that cloud infrastructure, AWS, best out there. Your technology or your security is supported there, secure with a platform that's growing and all these applications on top of it. That could be things like Factory Track, putting out your CRM, document management. All of these applications are supported. But this is more than just that server on your site. This is actually a service now you're being provided. So a couple things, just also to hit on this one. The first question I always get, we talk about cloud. Okay, do I still own my data? And the answer is yes. Even when you go to cloud, even though it's a service, you still own your data. Infor has published something they call the Customer Bill of Rights. This states clearly in there that you own that. So that's out there. You can go find that and have that structure. Now, when it comes to things such as, hey, what does this cost? You know, we'll talk a little bit about cost of ownership later on. But whereas on an on-prem, you're now paying a very large sum for some servers. Again, I was an IT manager. I've seen the price of servers. That is not pretty, and the maintenance can be even worse. Now in the cloud, you don't have to worry about that. It's all included in your subscription where you have servers on AWS that are being maintained and supported by Infor and the AWS team working together. It's all there, safe, and you have a known cost structure going forward. But innovation's always there. Infor is rolling out the latest and greatest. Being in the cloud, you're always going to get access to the latest and greatest. And we'll see some of that today. There's an update cycle. End of April was the last major update. There are some great visualizations that came with that we'll actually see today. Security is another thing. We'll touch more on this after the demo, but I would want to plant the seed. Security, as we're talking to companies as well, this is the key thing. We're one click away from a ransomware attack. So how do we help you prevent catastrophic occurrences like that by being on the cloud? And yes, we do greatly help you with that. So that's enough talking probably for right now. Let's actually get into the demo. So this is a platform, as I said. So last slide before I pull up the system itself, I promise. So this is now a cloud-based. You can access this anywhere you may have a electronics device. This could be through your laptop, whether at your place of business or at home or on a flight. I have worked in the system many a times while using Delta Wi-Fi, but also shows up on your tablet. You have access there as well as on your phone and your smartwatch. So we'll see some of that. We also have document management and workflows. These are some of the things we'll touch on today, but you can see there's a lot more to this that we can dive into at a later time. So here is now the system. So it is cloud. So you can see up here, I have this web address. So I'm using actually a real cloud environment here in the situation. And I want to start on this screen because this looks very much like the SyteLine that you may know and love on-prem. You know, we call it CloudSuite Industrial in the cloud because it is based in the cloud, but this is that same core application. So if you're currently using v10 and move to the cloud, actually this is v10 just in the cloud. Things roll over very smoothly. Michelle will talk about how we can do that. But you also have the flexibility up here to have some different looks and feels to it. I've tailored my environment to our guide technologies with a couple different menu options on the top. All of that is part of the experience. Now, this might be a comfortable place, but this is not where the future is always going to be. So where most people start out their day when they're looking at is a splash page or a home page that they may look at. So here's actually one of our home pages we have. This is actually made for customer service. These are all very tailorable, customizable experiences. And you can have very many of these. So here, let me pull on my drop down here. You can see all the different pages I have. So I have some pages to look at, some workspaces as well, which is more functional. This allows you that if you're a team wear many hats, you have different pages you look at, or you can combine them into a singular role like the executive page where you get multiple views. All this is there to make your day very quick to start out with. So one of the concepts that kind of surfaces when we go through this web experience is something we call managing by exception. So we're used to the day-to-day process where we go through the screens. With our level of automation now, we're going to keep on let the system, take care of a lot of that for us. Now the exceptions are going to bubble up so we can see those. And we have a couple here. We have the metrics as the lines past due, or some other key stats going on here. Other things, we have some reminders, how many late orders or open quotes. Get to the detail here. We kind of see orders past due or even orders at risk. So this is actually a little box that's going to help us navigate. It's going to pull up these orders at risk. In this case, those are orders where the APS projected date is past the due date. So this is all a standard app you have ready to go. Your team can have this right at their fingertips to keep a better track as to what is going on. The other thing that this allows us to do is incorporate things like analytics. So as part of the subscription, when you go to cloud, is you do get analytics. This is one such of those analytics reports. It's just a nice heat map showing the shipments by state were there. We also do have a full analytics homepages you can have. This is an example of an analytics page. You can see that same little chart that I pulled from here, but any number of areas to have those analytics. It could be production, could be finance. All of it is there at your fingertips. But those can be pulled also into your daily flow if you just want a quick little snapshot. The other thing that we want to do with this is make the navigation and the daily experience very fluid. As part of this, many of these things are single-click navigation into the system. So I'm going to go over, coordinated industries right here. I'm just going to click on that. This is now going to bring up the newest homepage. My apologies. I do live in the sticks of Northern Michigan. So when I'm streaming, it does slow down a little bit. That's on my side. That is not the system at all. And this is now one of the latest and greatest offerings, actually, that Infor has given us. This is the new Customer Hub. If you have seen the Customer 360 forms, this is kind of the replacement of it, but this is definitely taking it up to the next level. So looking at coordinated industries here, anything such as their credit limits, what's available. We also now have some of those same kind of features that we saw on the homepage, where we can look at the estimates, we can look at the orders, or any of the invoices, even things such as past due invoices. And when we look at these, all we have to do is click a little button, and this opens up now to the transaction. So you'll see how we started out from a very broad scenario of the homepage, navigated down to a customer hub, where we actually see all the details and into things such as the invoicing. Very direct. We have our exception. We can drill down, encounter that, and then get back out to where we need to be. Now, of course, we can always, if we want to look at the details on anything like this, we can also just do navigate into the customer itself. So this is now a little bit look and feel, looks a little different. This is actually a Gen 2 form. Some people have encountered these as they have upgraded. This is just something else we've done is update the interface, consolidate many of the forms to the experience where we can actually get into things like a CRM, have elements there, any forms. We also now have ready access to other things. So over here to the side, as part of the navigation, we also have a sidebar that we can pull out. We call these our insight groups. This is going to be your companion along the way. You can have any number of insight groups. These could have actually quick links. Think about a well-structured menu of your favorites. We can even set up these with processes. I've done that on our finance side as well. But I want to go back here to our related information, because what this first box up here is something that may be new for all of us. This related documents, this is our document management fully in context with what form we're on. So what I mean by that is part of the suite is you have Infor document management. This is a full-featured a document management solution. And it brings in all the data. You can configure this by form for what comes up. So I can look at things like the sales invoices. I can move through. If you want to add this, it is just a drag and drop to add a field in, and it will grab the data off the screen. From here, you can do things such as you want to resend an invoice. You can do that. You can download it or even print it. So all those are right there. We also now have, it comes into a full document management. So one thing is things automatically do get published here based on your activities. So I've been running a couple invoices of late. Ran some invoicing yesterday in our system. So we actually see these invoices got automatically published out. When we walk into these, this is an attribute-based system. So we have any number of attributes that get pulled in from the automatic printing. We also have things such as a history tracking here. So if we had to do a revised invoice, or revised customer order, all that could be kept here. We're able to have that tracking. A little bit off of this, but if you want to think about some other uses for this, a lot of companies are putting PDF versions of their shop floor prints on here. We're able to actually maintain a great spot in context for the shop floor to get access to. This is where we can do this. But right now, I have something else going on with this actually in particular as well. As part of this solution, we do have this little signature up here. This allows us to have a full document management DocuSign engagement with this. So right now on the signatures here, I have a signature out here, and unfortunately my time expired. Let's see if I can get right back into this and get into this document. Apparently not. So that would actually come back, and you see this little yellow, that will come back green. What this allows you to do actually is to have a full document tracking now with your document management of the signed documents by the customers. So think about customer order verifications, purchase orders, internal or external documents are all now housed here and kept in with this entire lifecycle journey. Very powerful, many ways that this can really consolidate all the various touch points of your business into one centralized location. The last element I want to get to in terms of this little tour here is beyond the document management, we also have high levels of automation. So behind the scenes, we have this little robot going on. This robot is out there looking at every transaction, making sure things go as planned. And if things don't go as planned, or maybe something occurs that we want to have validation on, the system's going to automatically catch that for us. You may have had times where there's a notification that was missed. So what we're going to do here, just as an example, I'm going to go to the credit for this customer. And let's say, as a little walkthrough of this automation, I want to increase the credit limit of this customer. Something that maybe needs to go through some approval processes. So I'm going to change this to 175 million rather than just 75 million. Now, upon save, this is the automation in practice. A couple things are going to happen. First of all, notice how my credit limit went back to what it was, but it's also locked out. As part of this automation, we can do security around records so that when a change is made that requires approval, it's actually locked until that approval is done. Now over here, I do have an internal inbox that has now popped up where I now have an action based on this credit limit. So that's now in a note, something where I need to take action. Now the beauty is though, if you are in this position where something like a credit limit increase needs to be approved, you might not be at your computer. Your team might not be there. So we have a solution for that. And as I mentioned earlier, that is our mobile. So I'm actually going to bring up my phone. We're going to do this live. So we can see right here, this is actually my phone in the background, and a number of Infor apps that are going to support us in this quick little cycle through. So this Infor Go is the main one. So when we click on that, it will do a little security validation. When I go to my inbox, there, just a little refresh, and that same notification is right there. So as I navigate in here, we can actually go through. It can get assigned to a group or right to a person. In this case, it goes out to a group, but I'm going to take it myself. Now we have the option here where we can actually look at the credit limit. We can maybe update that. So, 175, that's a bit much. I'm going to actually back this out to 125 million. So make that little change right there. If I have attachments I want to add from my phone, I can even do that right here. Or I can even add notes. And we support talk to text, so you don't have to type in this small little box. That's going to get saved. I'm going to approve this. And notice how fast these two screens updated. So just to land the plane on this, I'm just going to refresh this record quick. That little diamond is going to go away. There, it went away. Notice that 125 I entered into the workflow becomes the new credit limit. So this is much more than approvals. This is actually using these to actually gather data, update records, and can take much further action. I also got a notification here that this got approved, including the note of all that came with it. So that's kind of a quick little flow of what you will experience in the cloud, and what you can kind of get some imagination going as to how all this can help you and your team really take those next steps in your journey. So I'm going to move on to now. What does this mean? Okay, so we kind of saw this all in action. Looks good. So now, yeah, what's going on here? So as we've talked to customers, there's 5 reasons that people really want to move to this cloud adoption. Innovation, you're seeing that. And I'll be honest, I even stressed a surface ounce of the AI and advanced automation. I love to sit down with any of you and talk through the possibilities there with what Infor can provide for you. But security compliance, again, top-notch scalability. This is going to grow with you. In the past, as your company grew, you had to invest in more servers. Now you're in the cloud, Amazon's going to automatically scale with you. You're going to get the processing power that you need. And there's plenty of data available storage for you and your organization. You saw the adoption that's there, the UI and the adoption. This is much more modern as the workforce migrates to a younger generation who's used to more of this mobile look and feel. Definitely the homepage is going to help with that. And for the total cost of ownership, really, this is going to lower costs. We look at all the time and effort and materials related to maintaining an ERP. So I do want to actually talk back about the security compliance, though, because again, as an IT manager, I actually had a cyber threat when I was an IT manager. Fortunately, it did not succeed. We caught it in the acts. We were able to shut it down. But this is a new thing. So I just wanted to toss out a little bit there as to what's going on with ransomware in 2025. Already, we're not that far into the year, but still, what's going on? Well, first of all, the frequency. Ransomware is ratcheting up. The impact is real. And recovering your data from that is brutal, to say the least. You may not even be able to recover. At Infor, we've had a couple instances where companies have come to us with a ransomware attack on premise, and we've moved them to the cloud successfully as part of their recovery plan. So what does Infor actually do for this? How do we protect you in the event of ransomware? Well, first of all, since your servers are in Amazon protected, they are all there. So the application security, we actually maintain that for you. We are going to block those ransomware attempts. Since it's all through that web portal, there's not that direct access. You are safe. And Infor has done this. We do vulnerability and penetration testing throughout the product lifecycle. All that's included. The network security is all there. Now, we use a role-based access controls. That's a key part, so that if you are a government contractor and want to go up to our GovCloud solution, that is part of your NIST qualifications. So we are fully supportive of that need there as you maybe seek a CMMC certification. Infrastructure is purely there, though. Again, we're housing AWS East and West. Those are all restricted access facilities, limited users with all your backups to support you. So all that's there. You don't need to worry about that. And then, of course, the government, as I mentioned, as CMMC is ramping up, as the primes are pushing their ways down into their customer base or their vendor base to make sure they're certified. Infor is one of the few cloud providers in this area that is FedRAMP certified. So what that means is we are certified. We have our guarantee on the side of the box where you can now take that to your government customers and they can feel satisfied that you are compliant and will meet their needs, not only with product, but also with their security. Couple other things that we can also talk through on this. Infor, in their process here, has developed again the platform technology that for the document management. I lost track of my slides here in a minute. My apologies. My apologies on that. Oop. All right. So one other thing to talk about is the robotic is some of those advanced features. So one thing Infor just released as well is something they call their Velocity Suite. If you follow Infor, you may have heard about this. One of those features in there is something we call robotic process automation. Now there's a whole methodology. I'd love to dive in more. This is just another feature there where we can do some high level automation outside the system even. So just to land the plane on this section, I know Michelle would really want to talk to you. It's time to get over to her. Again, this is a service. A lot of things here that we can do to help you grow your business, anywhere from ownership all the way through. So that being said, I think I'm out of words for the day, at least for the time being. I'm going to turn this over to...
Until the Q&A comes, Kyle. Until the Q&A comes.
Until the Q&A comes, yeah, I spent my words. I had a couple thoughts cross my mind, and that unfortunately, I shouldn't let that happen in webinars. So, okay.
Thank you, Kyle. All right, transitioning to implementation. How do we navigate this process of change? This, as we've said the word a number of times, this journey, it is a process, right? We do it by leveraging our tried and true best practice approaches to not only change management, but how to migrate your data, looking at the approach. Many of you on this call are on some earlier versions, some of you older than others. And so when we think about the approach of a project like this, in some cases, it is as simple as an upgrading to the latest and greatest and looking at those items that Kyle called out, that the new capability, the latest and greatest capability, and that those key features and new items can replace some personalizations and extensions. It is looking at the new technology platform as a pipe to service our connections with other systems. Could be a non-Infor CRM system. It could be another system that's being integrated. So we look at the approach, and that is unique to each of you. And of course, we've been in business here for over 25 years, and our experience not only in the manufacturing sector and the industry that you guys are all in, but looking at it on the technology side, factoring in all those things together. So the key thing is looking at the scope, dialing that in, that is right for each of you. And there is as I mentioned, a method to the process. That is our implementation methodology. Although we have a methodology and there's a best practice approach, it is tailorable so that it can meet what your needs are. Because that's the most important thing here, is dialing it in and putting the right size scope together for your unique project. Right? Key things we're going to hit on is ensuring that we're maximizing the capability of the suite to the objectives and those targets that you guys have. I'm sure each one of you has a hit list of things that you have of initiatives or business goals and objectives that you want to achieve. So whether it be on the small end of a, hey, we need to transition, get to the latest version because we have a board or our PE firm has given us a directive. We have to do this by X. Or it is more internally motivated by achieving some operational goals or some technology goals and objectives, right? So those can be many, and we take all of those into consideration when putting together the details of your plan. We can do that quickly. Assess, meet with you, put together that draft, lock in the scope of work, and then determine when we start, of course, then begin working through the stages of the project. Now you may ask, Michelle, what is that methodology of which you speak? We love acronyms, okay? As you all know, maybe with my time at Infor, one of my terrible jokes is we love our TLAs. Those are our 3-letter acronyms. So our Rapid Implementation Intelligence 5, that's the RI25. This is 5 stages. There are 5 stages of the project: discovery, solution design, build, deploy, and support. You can see it's a clockwise moving around the center, and holistically, there is project management throughout each of these stages. So the monitoring and control and risk mitigation happens throughout. But this is the tried and true process that I was mentioning earlier. It provides a low disruption approach, which, what does that do? It minimizes the day-to-day impact on your business. So we can implement in a sprint and bring the highest level of value to your organization with the least amount of disruption, and in turn, a good return on your investment. Okay. Applying this type of implementation approach helps us reduce your risk, right? And we start off, if again you're reading here, you'll see that discovery, we do a risk mitigation and a risk assessment, and then effectively we go into design. If we're doing some process changes, taking advantage of some of these nice new capabilities, we're retooling and we're setting aside the old way that we did it with a customization perhaps, and we're adapting that to a cloud-friendly and an upgrade safe approach. And then we test, we iterate, we validate, certify, train end users, have a good cutover plan, and transition to go live. And then, of course, hypercare, making sure that any issues that come up post-deploy are quickly resolved. And in many cases, there could be multiple sprints because we may want to take advantage of additional capabilities. I'll throw out a couple of examples. Let's say you're utilizing the core of the ERP pretty well. Maybe you are in MRP mode. Okay, so I'm picking 3 areas, MRP, and second, maybe quality. So how can you advance and manage your information and essentially move the needle in terms of the value of that component of the ERP? Well, in the planning area, there's MRP and then there's APS. And APS has 2 modes, APS Infinite and Finite. And so one of the things that we may be doing is looking at an implementation or layering on some additional complexity and some additional visibility and planning. So that would be a goal and objective, and that might be in Sprint 1 or Sprint 2. Another is an example of quality. So that is, of course, our discovery. And as part of the discovery process, we are snapping in those goals and objectives so that everything we do meets that true north of the project. Okay. Key point here is what we're leveraging in the core. This pyramid, you've probably heard people talk about a 60-30-10, the core, processes, differentiators, and unique. Well, Infor, as Kyle was mentioning, has created a lot of wonderful tools. One of the components and tools is called process intelligence. And process intelligence is what we leverage to quickly gain process structure. It supports all of your process flows for those key areas. Most of our clients when we do a review, we find that they're in, rather than a 60 percentile, they're in a 90 plus percentile, leveraging, for example, is quote to cash. And you have your order management, right? Your pick, pack, ship, and all the processes to work through those, that complete process flow. So 90+% leveraging the core application, and then some differentiators. You saw a nice flow of notification for a credit limit, some process automation, perhaps integration to other systems, or DocuSign. All of those are configurable and would go into your differentiators. And then unique, maybe you have some special sauce, maybe there's a custom application, something that does need to be done unique for that makes you stand out from your competition. So those are all put together and we execute that through the project. Again, the process is flexible to meet your needs, and we would be working with you to snap in those individual goals and objectives for your timeline.
Hey, Michelle,
Yeah.
do you want me to pop up that process intelligence quick, just as an example?
Sure, that would be wonderful. Within the suite, process intelligence, and these are the process catalog. These are the process flows. So there's two elements of this. You see there's the Infor process catalog for CloudSuite Industrial, the end-to-end business processes. That's great. So we click on that, and this is an integral to the RI25 implementation. So we're not starting from an empty box, right? Templates, core kit, procedures, processes, and this actually has connection back to the ERP and process documents. So our business process review, or the operational review, dials in what processes we're actually leveraging within your organization. And then this is what our pilot execution plan and all the tests relate back to. So essentially, it's all modeled from those core business processes within the system. So this is an aid along with Infor University and the training approach, getting your folks touching the system early, getting a key foundation for them, and then we can quickly prototype and model the future state, iterate, identify any, let's say you need some personalizations on reports. That is very common, those external facing reports. And it is absolutely supported in the cloud, right? If you're in the commercial cloud or in the regulated security or gov cloud with Infor, those tailorings are 100% supported. So thank you, Kyle. That was great. If you hit on the process attributes real quickly, you'll see that there's some description. Everything is tied to this. And there's also business processes, so test scripts. Again, not starting from an empty box. Okay, so we leverage all of these components and tools that Infor has spent so much time putting together in our implementation. And back to that pyramid for processes that are differentiator, and we have some configuration. The process models in that catalog can be tailored, and those process flows can be adjusted to meet your specific flow. And again, I was talking quote to cash. So we revise that. That is going to flow down to your procedure documents, so everything is linked. That is how we get there quickly, right? So we look at the best practice, we prototype, look at any data that needs to be adjusted. And for you who have been running this solution for quite some time, there are probably things that you wish you had done differently. That's okay. Everyone has decisions that it could be with data or it could be with a process. So there are means of which we can, depending on what your situation is, tailor the approach to help you restructure, to help you start afresh in a particular area so that you can leave the past behind and move forward with a model that you would like to set the stage for your future organization growth. Okay. Our guide team is made up of individuals, as we mentioned, who have years and years of manufacturing industry experience, as well as the SyteLine application experience. So each one of our senior consultants on the functional side has come from the manufacturing space. In many cases, they have been clients. Kyle shared his journey. My journey actually began with an OEM equipment manufacturer out in the Portland metro area. So our specialists are in a number of domains. We have senior system engineers who are working on, think of that as the ecosystem and the database connections and things like that, connecting the database to other things through the Infor platform, integrations. And then, of course, our functional specialists, and then our what we would call developers. So when we do need something extended, we need integration on a particular platform or API call, we bring in our technology specialists. So we serve as your experts to help you determine, help you figure out the options on how you're going to solve and how we can leverage technology as a force for good and to propel you forward. Okay. So in summary, with that expertise, it's not just industry, but I'm going to do a special call out to some uniquenesses in industry. We do a lot with metal, a lot with electronics, and some particular specializations within the greater what is considered the discrete manufacturing space, but a lot of our clients, Kyle mentioned CMMC 2.0. A lot of our clients have defense contracts, whether you are an A&D, in aerospace and defense, or the product that you make, you have Department of Defense contracts. There's some things that, of course, you have to be aware of and some nuances for that implementation. And that will usually pivot a client into implementing in the AWS regulated industry SaaS environment, i.e. that IGS or the Gov Cloud, as opposed to commercial cloud. So we have many clients that we support in both sectors. And our ability to leverage our experience, right, work so well with you to outline those goals and objectives, implement those best practices, really brings it all to culmination, right, to take those complexities and implement those in a way that you are able to serve your customers better. And at the end of it all, that's our goal, helping you all become better manufacturers and serve your clients best, right?
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, Kyle.
So before we take questions, what's next? Okay. So great. We had a great 50 minutes so far together. So next steps, if you want to have this upgrade conversation on what your journey looks like, and that's where we're here. Myself and some others can definitely join you. And I'm also looking at customizations you've had. As I mentioned earlier, many companies' customizations have been incorporated as more standard product now. So what, are the things that we can go to more of a core system, and how can we accelerate your business from there? Then we bring Michelle and work on a migration plan. What time frame works best? Do we need to get this done before some servers are due to be decommissioned? For some of you out there running version 9, you might have some things surrounding the SQL Server we need to address. We can get you up and running very fast in a cloud environment so you realize those benefits. And then we'll continue to walk with you. As Michelle said, we're here, we're in this together. We're walking with you side by side every step of the way. So beyond an initial migration, how do we start leveraging the analytics, the velocity suite that you can go out and learn a ton on in the Infor realm? How do we start making all this happen for you to, again, accelerate your business and really help you set up for success in the future? So open time for questions now. Wendy, do we have any questions that were dropped in the Q&A during this conversation?
Yes, we do, in fact. The first question is, what if I have integrations? For example, I have an integration to another system that is an ODBC connection. How do I handle this?
That's a great one, Wendy. Kyle, I'll throw out throw out some background here. So an ODBC connection is effectively a direct connection to the database, which on-prem, right, certainly is supported, but that means the system was directly connecting to the environment. So when we look at security, that is something that a pivot to SaaS, the ODBC connections will transition to being secure, authenticated, validated connections through the Infor OS platform, for example, the Ion API and the secure connection points. Okay, so effectively that integration, absolutely, that can connect, and we just transition that to going through that layer. If we do need to share some information to an external database, then we can communicate that with publish and subscribe or API calls.
Very
Great.
well said, Michelle.
Thank you, Michelle. We have another question. What if I have a lot of modifications in my current environment / version?
These are great ones. All right, you're not alone. You're not alone. Depending on what version you're coming from, your reports could be some of those, and you may be on SSRS reports, or if you're running an older version, they could be even crystal reports. So effectively what we do is we look at the landscape and see what you have that's been customized, modified, right? And we set up an environment. Obviously, your environment will be without those things. Okay, so we give let's say it's a clean slate, and it's our opportunity to evaluate what moves forward. So a migration path will take any extended table values like UETs, and of course those user-defined fields, those all flow forward. And then we look at what form changes and what report changes, and maybe anything else that has been a stored procedure or a business logic change. Those will need to be evaluated, and then we essentially design and determine the approach for that. Right? So we will be retooling what needs to go forward. That's a little bit of a process, but we'll work through what are business critical items, and we'll include that in our discovery, and then of course the build and test phase of the project.
Great, thank you, Michelle. Another question that just popped in. This is a good one. They're all good, actually. Leadership at our company wants to compare the cost model of on-prem versus cloud. Cloud TCO seems higher. How does cloud cost of ownership compare to on-prem?
That is a good one. Kyle, do you want to start that one?
Yeah. So I can start that one. You may have the harder numbers, at least, but I don't have the numbers in front of me. So being an IT manager, there's a lot of costs that went into ERP that weren't included in the ERP subscription. Again, you have servers, you have backups, you have the energy, to run all of that, the servers themselves. If you have an MSP at all, they may be involved with all of that. So there's a lot of ancillary things behind the scenes, besides the cash outlay. So as we've looked at many customers, end of the day, when you add up all of the ancillary costs compared to what the subscription is, it's actually typically, a little bit cheaper to go cloud. And when you look at things such as succession planning as well, who's going to do what, the cloud is always going to be there. Infor always going to be staffing it. AWS is going to be there supporting you along the way. So having your staff there that's always accessible, essentially in the cloud, that helps the overall cost, but also the risk mitigation. That's the other factor as well. Being on-prem, as I mentioned, has risks, has security concerns that are mitigated in our cloud environment due to the nature of the AWS hosting and the access that we've structured around it.
And Kyle, one of the reviews and the analysis that we've done recently for one of our clients is, they were looking what their cost model is, and one of the big factors is their DR servers and the redundancy, and including all of that, costs for non-production environments and maintaining that and ensuring good failover plans. So when you're looking at the subscription, that's an important thing to consider, is all of those servers and then the effort and internal operational overhead to maintain and keep those up to date. Another benefit, not only that you don't have to, but you're at a current supportable OS level, right? You're always going to be at a supported OS level for your critical business system. Yep. So, those are some things I think everybody probably was aware of, but it does add up.
Yeah. And other softer costs, I know for me, my goal was to always make it home for dinner. And as an IT manager, some of your IT managers, sometimes that doesn't always happen because of an emergency call. With Infor on your side, they're going to take care of things, and you don't have to be late for dinner because of an ERP issue.
Okay. I think we're close to time. We have time for one more question. We can answer this relatively quickly. Someone just asked, what happens to my annual maintenance if I move to the cloud?
That is a fantastic question. So this is actually part of the benefit of having Infor help you move to the cloud. So your annual maintenance actually you get a credit for that as you migrate to the cloud. So what that means is if you've already paid up for the year, I was just talking to a customer yesterday about this, and they are paid up through December, as we're talking about an upgrade. Your maintenance becomes a credit. So that is pretty much money back in the bank for you as you move. That's pretty much absorbed, and you are now on the new plan going forward.
Great. Okay, thank you. Kyle, Michelle, Ron, very insightful presentation. And thank you all again for joining us today. We hope this session has given you a clearer view of the powerful new features and benefits available in CloudSuite Industrial version 10, and why upgrading can make a real difference in your day-to-day operations and long-term goals. If you have any follow-up questions or would like to discuss your upgrade path in more detail, please feel free to reach out directly to Guide Technologies Account Executive Bill North. Bill will be happy to assist with any questions about your specific environment, planning your upgrade, or getting connected with the right resources. Thanks again, and we look forward to supporting you on your journey with CSI version 10. Have a great day.